March 19th, 1945. Somewhere in England. Dear Tommy, I still hear that German pilot's voice over the radio. Those crates can't even fly straight. His accent was thick, mocking, confident. Seconds later, our 850s filled the sky with fire, and his laughter was gone. Just smoke and falling metal where a man used to be. I pulled the trigger. I watched him die. And Tommy, I need you to understand something before you sign those enlistment papers Mom told me about. There ain't no glory up here. Just killing and dying and trying not to think about either one. I'm writing this at 300 hours because I can't sleep. Haven't slept right since yesterday's mission over Berlin. Every time I close my eyes, I see Red Davies' P-47 explode. I see Billy Jenkins's Thunderbolt spinning down. I see Carlos Rodriguez burn. 3 men I ate breakfast with yesterday morning are gone, and I'm still here, hands shaking, trying to explain to my kid brother why he shouldn't want this. You wrote saying you can't wait to turn 18, that you want to fight like your big brother. Tommy, I ain't fighting. I'm surviving. And if I don't return from the next mission, and the odds say eventually I won't, I need you to know the truth. Not the propaganda, not the newsreels. The truth about what war really is. My name is First Lieutenant Robert J. Kay. Everyone calls me Bobby. I'm 23, but I look older now. Something about this winter of 44 aged all of us who survived it. I fly a Republic P-47D Thunderbolt nicknamed Oklahoma Thunder with the 8th Air Force, 56th Fighter Group, 61st Fighter Squadron. Falcon Flight. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you remember me, right, Tommy? The brother who taught you to throw a curveball behind Miller's barn? Who took you fishing at Lake Keystone every summer? I think about home constantly. That porch we sat on during summer storms, the smell of wet earth after the rain, that rich Oklahoma dirt smell. Your laugh mixing with the thunder rolling across the plains. Mom bringing us her too sweet lemonade in those chipped mason jars. The rough wood of that swing beneath my hands. Lightning dancing across the horizon while you counted seconds between flash and thunder. I remember feeling safe, feeling innocent. That was before I learned what 850 caliber machine guns sound like when they fire, before I learned a man's aircraft can disintegrate in 3 seconds. Before I understood you can kill someone at 300 yards and watch their face the moment they realize they're dead. Those first days at the airbase in England, I was terrified and excited. Fresh second lieutenant bars, brand new flight jacket. Captain Morrison pulled us new pilots aside after our first briefing. He looked at us with tired, hollow eyes and said, "Half of you won't make it past your 5th mission. The ones who do will wish they hadn't." I thought he was trying to scare us. Now I know he was just telling the truth. I've already lost too many friends. Lieutenant Parker went down over Schweinfurt. Direct flak hit. Aircraft just came apart. Sergeant O'Brien got caught by a Messerschmitt on his 3rd mission. No parachute. And yesterday I lost 3 more in 1 mission. Red Davies from Vermont, who still looked 16. Billy Jenkins from St. Louis, who carried a Bible and prayed before every takeoff. Carlos Rodriguez from San Antonio, who kept us laughing when we were scared, all gone. I'm 5'11", leaner than I used to be. I've got this scar over my left eyebrow. You gave me that, remember? Summer of '38, that line drive that caught me. I used to be mad about that scar. Now I'm grateful. It's a reminder of home, of when the worst pain I knew was a baseball to the face. I keep a photograph in my flight jacket pocket. You and me at Lake Keystone, holding those catfish we caught. The photo's bent now, stained with engine oil and dried blood from yesterday's mission. But I can't throw it away. It's the only piece of home I've got up here at 23,000 feet where the air is too thin to breathe and cold enough to kill you in minutes. March 18th, 1945. 400 hours. Some corporal pounded on my bunk. Briefing in 1 hour. Big one today. We always knew when it was big by the tone in their voices. I woke to darkness and cold. The Nissen hut was freezing. I could see my breath. My whole body ached. 23 years old and I felt 50. I pulled on my uniform in the dark. The other guys were already stirring. Nobody sleeps well before a mission. Breakfast was powdered eggs that tasted like paste, weak coffee, burnt toast. The mess hall was packed but quiet. 40 pilots, maybe 60 crew members, eating in near silence. Nobody had much appetite. Your stomach knows when something bad is coming. Red Davies sat across from me, pushing eggs around his plate. "Can't eat," he said, voice cracking. "Got a letter from my girl yesterday. She's talking about wedding plans." He tried to smile. "Guess I better make it back." I couldn't lie to him, so I just said, "Keep your head on a swivel. Check your 6. Billy Jenkins was at the next table, Bible open, lips moving silently. Carlos Rodriguez walked past, winked. "Hey, Bobby, what's the difference between a P-47 and a brick?" Before I could answer, "Bricks don't fly as ugly, but they fall just as hard." He laughed. "See you up there, Oklahoma." I had my rituals. After breakfast, I read your last letter about your baseball team making county finals. Normal life. Beautiful, boring, normal life. Then I pulled out that photograph of us fishing, stared at it until the memories felt real. The smell of the lake, the sound of your laugh. I whispered, "Keep him safe." Outside, gray English dawn. The airfield was alive with activity. Ground crews prepping aircraft, trucks hauling ammunition. The B-17s were lined up, big and dark. Those were the bombers we'd escort, flying fortresses. But we all knew they were just big targets that needed us to keep them alive. The weather was shit. Low clouds, threat of ice, wind that'd make formation flying a nightmare. But the mission was on. The mission was always on. I walked to the flight line with my parachute helmet .45 pistol that wouldn't do any good if I got shot down over Germany. I passed crews patching holes from previous missions. A young mechanic was riveting a patch over a hole the size of my head. Flak damage. He looked exhausted. We were all tired, all running on fumes and fear. At my revetment, Sergeant Davis was finishing pre-flight on Oklahoma Thunder. He was 50, too old to fly, too valuable to send home. He'd kept my bird flying through 36 missions. "Morning, Lieutenant. She's ready. Full ammunition load, 850s, 425 rounds per gun, 3,400 rounds total." He paused. "Enough to get you home." We walked around the aircraft together. This was the ritual. Check control surfaces, landing gear, propeller blades, look for leaks, check gun barrels, verify the gun sight. Oklahoma Thunder was over 7 tons of aircraft, beautiful in a brutal way. The P-47 Thunderbolt, biggest single-engine fighter of the war. Fat fuselage wrapped around a Pratt & Whitney R-2800 engine, 2,000 horsepower, 850 caliber machine guns. She wasn't graceful, but she was tough. "She'll bring you back," Davis said. It was what he always said. I climbed into the cockpit, strapped in tight, connected oxygen, checked systems. Around me, Falcon Flight was doing the same, 16 Thunderbolts. By tonight, how many would still be flyable? I went through startup. The R-2800 coughed, caught. The propeller began turning, 18 cylinders firing, 2,000 horsepower shaking the aircraft. Down the line, P-47s were starting up. The sound of thunder about to roll toward Berlin. 0800 hours. The briefing room. 60 of us packed in, cigarette smoke thick, tension thicker. Major Anderson stood at the front, 35 years old, 50 missions flown. Looking at him was like looking at a ghost, a man who should be dead, but wasn't. "Gentlemen," he said, and pulled back the curtain. Berlin, the red string stretched from England to Hitler's capital, the most heavily defended city on the planet. "Jesus Christ," someone muttered. "The 8th Air Force is putting up 200 bombers today," Anderson said. "Our job is escort. Intel estimates 200 enemy fighters, BF-109s, FW-190s. They'll hit the bombers hard. Expected losses, 10 to 15% aircraft, maybe higher. 200 enemy fighters. We had 60 P-47s. The math wasn't encouraging. What about flak? someone asked. Heavy and accurate over Berlin. Concentrated 80mm batteries from 20,000 to 28,000 feet. Don't fly straight and level. I looked at my hands, shaking. 36 missions and still shaking before every briefing. You never got used to it. Lieutenant Davies raised his hand, voice cracking. Sir, if we bail out over Berlin, you're a POW if you're lucky. German civilians aren't happy about us bombing their city. Air crews have been beaten to death by mobs. My advice, don't get hit. Wheels up at no 900. This is combat over the most defended target in Europe. Fly smart. Watch each other's backs. Remember, every fort you save is 10 American lives. We filed out in silence. No bravado. Just boots on concrete and the knowledge of what was coming. The walk to Oklahoma Thunder felt longer than usual. Red walked beside me. First time to Berlin, he said quietly. I'm scared. Me too, I said. Because I was. Every mission. The fear never went away. Billy caught up to us. Said a prayer for all of us. Carlos appeared, grinning. Stick close to Oklahoma. He's got the devil's own luck. 36 missions without a scratch. 37 after today, I said. If we make it. When we make it, Carlos corrected. I started my pre-flight again. Trust but verify. This aircraft had to work perfectly because my life depended on it. Davis appeared with a cigarette. My nephew was on a fort that went down over Berlin last month. His whole crew lost. His voice caught. So when you're up there, keep them alive. I will, I promised. I climbed in, strapped tight, connected everything. Went through the checklist. Battery on, fuel valve, mixture rich, propeller full, throttle cracked, ignition on, primed the engine, hit the starter. The Pratt & Whitney roared to life. Falcon flight radio check, Anderson's voice. We all checked in, 16 present, 16 ready. Falcon flight taxi. I released brakes, followed Anderson to the runway. At the threshold, final checks, everything green, everything ready. Falcon flight, cleared for takeoff. Good hunting, gentlemen. Anderson accelerated down the runway, lifted off. Then my turn. I pushed the throttle forward. The engine roared, 2,000 horsepower dragging 7 tons into the sky. At 100 miles per hour, I pulled back. Oklahoma Thunder lifted off, climbing into gray sky. Below us, England disappeared into clouds. Ahead, the North Sea. Beyond that, Germany. Beyond that, Berlin. I checked my watch. 0915 hours. In 90 minutes, we'd rendezvous with the bombers. In 2.5 hours, we'd be over Berlin. I looked at the photograph tucked behind my gun sight. 2 brothers with catfish, not knowing what was coming. Falcon 3, you with us? Anderson asked. Right where I should be. The formation climbed to 23,000 feet. The temperature dropped. At 23,000 feet, minus 50 Fahrenheit. So cold your breath freezes in your oxygen mask. So cold you're numb within minutes even with heated suits. We flew east for 90 minutes. Over the North Sea, gray and rough. If you went down there, you had 5 minutes before hypothermia killed you. We tried not to think about it. Falcon lead. This is Ramrod leader. We have you on scope. Come up on our left wing. We altered course. Suddenly they were there, the bombers. Hundreds of B-17s stretching across the sky, each carrying 10 men. Thousands of American boys heading toward Berlin. We took position above the bomber stream, weaving constantly, scanning for enemy fighters. The sky was brilliant blue at altitude, sun painfully bright. Below, Germany spread out like a map. From up here it looked peaceful. But down there, Germans were manning flak guns, Luftwaffe fighters were scrambling. Falcon lead, estimate 15 minutes to target. Expect heavy resistance. Roger. Falcon flight, check your guns. I armed all 8 50 calibers, pulled charging handles. 3,400 rounds ready, adjusted gun sight, everything ready, now just waiting. Time stretched. Each minute felt like 10. Adrenaline already dumping, heart beating too fast. Bandits! 12 o'clock high! I jerked my eyes up. Black dots diving through the sun. Messerschmitts. At least 20, probably more behind. Falcon flight. Engage! Everything happened at once. The Messerschmitts dove through the bomber formation, 20mm cannons blazing, tracers streaked, red from German guns, white from the bombers fighting back. A B-17 got hit, number 3 engine on fire. The fort kept flying, staying in formation, even burning. I shoved throttle forward, pulled up hard. G-forces pressed me down. 3, 4 Gs, vision graying. Couldn't black out. Not now. A Messerschmitt flashed past, yellow nose spinner, bright. I pulled lead, squeezed trigger. All 8 guns fired. Aircraft shuddered, cordite smell filled the cockpit. Tracers converged. Strikes, metal flew off his wing, canopy shattered. The 109 rolled away, trailing smoke. No time to watch. Another enemy lining up on a B-17. I broke hard left. "Break right," I shouted. The fort broke. The Messerschmitt missed. I was on his 6 now, range 300 yards. Fired. Tracers walked up his fuselage. His engine exploded orange. The 109 fell away, spinning. Then I heard it. Over the radio. German voice. English with thick accent, mocking. "Those crates can't even fly straight." I saw him. A Focke-Wulf 190 diving on a straggling B-17. He was good. Professional. Lined up carefully, fired precisely. The B-17's tail disintegrated. The bomber spun down, burning. 3 parachutes. 7 men didn't make it. Rage flooded through me. Cold, focused rage. I rolled inverted, dove on the Focke-Wulf's tail. He saw me, tried to brake, but too late. I was closing at 400 miles per hour, past the red line, whole aircraft shaking. Range 200 yards. Pipper on his fuselage. Squeezed trigger. 8 guns. 6,800 rounds per minute. A solid line of light connecting my aircraft to his. Bright flashes. Armor-piercing incendiaries punching through metal. His wing root. Canopy. Engine. Pieces flew off. Propeller seized. White smoke. Coolant. Poured from engine. The Focke-Wulf rolled over. Started down. I followed. Firing again. More hits. Canopy blew off. I saw the pilot slumped forward. The aircraft nosed into a vertical dive, disappeared into clouds. I pulled up hard. 6, 7, 8 Gs. Everything went gray, then black. I eased off. Vision cleared. The German's mocking voice was gone. His laughter was gone. Just smoke where a man used to be. I should have felt something. Triumph. Justice. But I felt nothing. Just cold efficiency. Just knowledge I'd killed a man and probably saved a dozen Americans. The math was simple. The morality wasn't. "Good shooting, Falcon 3. That's 2. Carlos's voice. "Falcon 3. Falcon 4 is hit. I'm hit." Red's voice, panicked. I snapped my head around. There, his P-47 trailing smoke, pieces flying off. An FW-190 on his tail, lining up for the kill. "Red, break left." He broke, but too slow. The Focke-Wulf fired. Strikes walked across Red's wing, his fuselage. His canopy exploded. Aircraft shuddered, nose down. "Bail out! Red, bail out!" His canopy was gone, blown away. I saw him trying to stand, trying to get out. The aircraft was spinning, centrifugal force pinning him. He couldn't escape. I watched him struggle, watched him fight, watched him fail. Red Davies, 20 years old, planning his wedding, died in his cockpit over Germany when his P-47 hit the ground and exploded. I turned, found the Focke-Wulf that killed him, climbed above, rolled in, fired from 400 yards in a near-vertical dive, held the trigger down, his wing folded, aircraft tumbled, broke apart, no parachute, didn't care. "Falcon 3, check your 6, bandit on your tail." I broke hard right. Felt aircraft shudder on edge of stall. Tracers streaked past my canopy. A Messerschmitt had bounced me. Tunnel vision. Could have killed me. I reversed, pulled into him head on. Both firing, closure rate over 600 miles per hour. His rounds hit my right wing. I felt impacts, heard metal scream. My rounds hit his propeller, engine. We both broke at the last second, missing by feet. The sky was chaos. Fighters, bombers, tracers, smoke, flames, parachutes, falling aircraft everywhere. The radio was nightmare. Brake right! I'm hit! Bailing out! Jesus Christ! A B-17 to my left exploded. Just came apart, torn to pieces. Bombs inside cooked off. Pieces of metal, pieces of men falling like rain. No parachutes. 10 men dead instantly. Another fort was on fire. 3 engines burning but still flying, still in formation. Crew throwing things out to lighten load. They were trying to reach the target. That was the rule. You didn't turn back until you dropped your bombs. Didn't matter if you were dying. Falcon 8, I got one on you. Billy's voice, calm. I looked over, saw Billy diving on a Messerschmitt chasing Carlos. Billy fired. The 109 broke off. Carlos waggled wings in thanks. Then Billy's voice, I'm hit. Engine's gone. Fire in the cockpit. I can't. Static. Then, tell my folks I love them. I whipped my head around. Found him. Billy's P-47, engine dead, propeller windmilling, smoke pouring. He was gliding, trying to reach Allied lines. But he was at 23,000 feet over Germany. He'd never make it. Billy, bail out. Can't. Canopy's jammed. I'm gonna try to... Voice cut off. I watched him glide. Lose altitude. 5,000 feet. 10,000. 15,000. Still trying. Still fighting. Then at 8,000 feet, his aircraft nosed over. Either he'd passed out, or given up, or lost control. Billy Jenkins, who carried a Bible and prayed every morning, died somewhere over Germany. I clenched the stick. Tears froze on my cheeks. I wanted to scream, wanted to quit. But there were still bombers to protect, still a job to do. Then I saw Carlos below me, turning hard, chased by 2 Focke-Wulfs. They were herding him, coordinating perfectly. Carlos, 2 on your tail. I see 'em. Can't shake 'em. I rolled in, diving toward them. But I was too far, too late. I knew it. The lead Focke-Wulf fired. Long burst. Rounds hit Carlos's fuselage, walked toward cockpit. His fuel tank exploded. The P-47 turned into a fireball. Instant immolation. Orange flame and smoke. Pieces of burning wreckage spinning away. No parachute. No time. Carlos Rodriguez, who made jokes when we were scared. Gone. Nothing but smoke. I killed both Focke-Wulfs. Didn't think. Just pulled lead and fired until my guns went silent, ammunition exhausted. Both German fighters falling in flames. I don't remember doing it. I was somewhere else. Somewhere my friends weren't dying. The flak started 15 miles from Berlin. Black puffs appearing ahead. German 88mm shells exploding at our altitude, filling air with steel fragments. Each puff was a sphere of death 30 yards across, thousands of shrapnel pieces at supersonic speed. The bombers flew straight through it. Had to. You couldn't bomb accurately while jinking, so they flew straight, knowing some would die, doing it anyway. I watched a B-17 take a direct hit in the bomb bay. Aircraft disintegrated. 10 men gone. Another fort lost its tail section. Pitched up violently, stalled, inverted spin. 2 parachutes. 8 didn't make it. The flak was so thick you could almost see it. A wall of explosions we had to fly through. I weaved through the barrage, trying to stay above bombers, trying to watch for fighters while avoiding flak. Something hit my aircraft. Shrapnel punched through my right wing, made a fist-sized hole. Aircraft shuddered. I checked gauges. No leaks, controls responding. Lucky. 6 inches left, and it would have hit fuel tank. Another piece hit my canopy. Plexiglass shattered into a million cracks. Suddenly I couldn't see forward clearly. Had to fly looking out the side. Cold rushed in through cracks. Face went numb within seconds. A third piece punched through the cockpit floor between my legs, exited through the roof. Missed me by inches. I looked down, saw daylight through the hole. Saw Germany 23,000 feet below. 2 inches to the right, I'd be dead. Ramrod leader. Bomb bay doors opening. Beginning bomb run. Below, B-17s opened bomb bay doors. I saw the bombs, dark cylinders, hundreds of them, hanging in the bellies, waiting to fall on Berlin. "Bandits! 4 o'clock level! Messerschmitts!" At least 30 Bf-109s diving toward bombers. The big push. Luftwaffe's last desperate attempt to break the formation. Falcon flight, engage. We turned into them. 11 P-47s, we'd lost 5, turning into 30 German fighters. Outnumbered, outpositioned, low on fuel and ammunition. But we were between them and the bombers. We collided in a massive furball. Fighters mixed together, everyone shooting, no formation, just chaos. I fired at a Messerschmitt, hit him, saw him break, rolled to avoid another, pulled up, dove down, everything happening so fast I was reacting on instinct. My guns stopped, out of ammunition, all 3,400 rounds expended, defenseless now, but I stayed anyway, breaking up attacks, forcing German fighters to maneuver, buying time. A Messerschmitt came head-on. I turned into him even with no ammunition, forcing him to break. Another tried to dive past. I dove with him, staying on his wing, preventing him from lining up on bombers. I couldn't kill them anymore, but I could disrupt them. "Bombs away, bombs away!" The B-17s released, thousands of bombs falling, tumbling, heading toward Berlin. From 23,000 feet, took about a minute to fall. I watched them drop away, disappear into haze. The bomber formation turned, slow, ponderous, wheeling as one, heading back toward England. Mission complete. Now we just had to survive the trip back. German fighters broke off. They'd failed to stop the bombing. Now they were low on fuel too. They turned back. I did a quick count. The formation that had been over 100 B-17s was now maybe 70. 30 bombers lost, 300 men dead or captured, and we still had 2 hours flying to England. Falcon flight, form up. Let's take these boys home. I joined Anderson's wing, counted P-47s, 8. We'd started with 16. Red, Billy, Carlos, and 5 others, gone. Half our flight wiped out in 40 minutes. My fuel gauge was dangerously low. Hydraulic pressure dropping, engine running rough, canopy shattered. I was freezing, exhausted, numb, and I still had 2 hours to fly. We nursed damaged bombers home, some barely flying, engines out, holes everywhere, wounded crew, dead crew. They stayed in formation because formation meant survival. 1 B-17 couldn't keep up. 3 engines, massive damage, losing altitude. I watched them fall behind. I dropped back with them, flying escort even with no ammunition. Maybe my presence would deter attack. Maybe not. But I wasn't letting them die alone. We made it to the English Channel before the fort gave up. Pilot put it down in the water, textbook ditching. B-17 hit water, skipped once, settled, started sinking. I circled overhead, watching crew bail into life rafts, 10 men in freezing water. I called air-sea rescue, made sure help was coming. Then, low on fuel, I had to leave. I waggled wings, goodbye, good luck, and turned toward England. I crossed the coast at 5,000 feet, engine coughing, fuel tanks nearly dry. The airfield was ahead, just a few more miles. The engine quit on final approach, just died, propeller windmilling, sudden silence. I was too low to bail, too low to do anything except glide. I stretched the glide, managing energy. Runway rushing up. I was going to be short, going to crash. Then wind lifted me. Just enough. I cleared the fence by feet, dropped hard, bounced, hit again, rolled out, stopped halfway down runway. I sat there in the silent cockpit, hands shaking, breath gasping, unable to move. I'd made it. Somehow, impossibly, I'd made it. Davis reached my aircraft first, climbed up, looked in. "You okay, Lieutenant?" I tried to answer. Couldn't, just nodded. He looked at the shattered canopy, the holes, the leaking fluids. "Jesus Christ, how are you alive?" I didn't have an answer. Debriefing was at 1800 hours. Intelligence officers with notebooks, ready to record observations. I answered mechanically, voice flat. First contact 11:30 hours. Approximately 200 enemy fighters, BF-109s and FW-190s. Heavy flak over Berlin, 80 Diapometer, accurate. Confirmed kills? 4. 2 Messerschmitts, 2 Focke-Wulfs. The officer made a note. 4 kills. Like they were numbers, not men with families. 4 men I'd killed, reduced to statistics. Losses? My voice caught. Lieutenants Davies, Jenkins, Rodriguez. Also Morrison, Chang, Williams, Jackson, Peterson. 8 names, 8 friends. The officer wrote them down without expression. Expected losses. We'd lost 50%, but we'd completed the mission. By war's calculus, that was success. Dismissed. That was it. 8 men dead, reduced to 3 pages of typed notes. I walked to the flight line. Oklahoma Thunder was surrounded by ground crews assessing damage. Davis saw me, shook his head. 147 holes, shattered canopy, damaged hydraulics, engine took shrapnel, wing spar cracked. He ran his hand along fuselage. But she brought you home. I walked around, looking at damage. Each hole represented steel or lead that could have killed me, but didn't. The hole between my legs, the shrapnel that passed through where my head would have been. The cannon round 6 inches from fuel tank. Can she fly again? Yeah, give me a week. We'll patch her up. 37 missions. 37 times taking off, fighting, landing. Both of us had beaten the odds. Both should be dead. But we were still here. Evening in the mess hall, empty chairs, Red's seat where he'd pushed eggs around, Billy's seat where he'd had his Bible, Carlos's seat where he'd told that joke. I tried to eat. Couldn't. Everything tasted like ash. I forced down bread, drank water, gave up. Replacements came in, 5 new pilots, fresh-faced and excited, eager to see action. They looked at us veterans with awe. We looked at them and saw corpses. One approached me. Lieutenant Kessler, I heard you got 4 kills over Berlin. That's incredible. What's your name? Second Lieutenant Thomas Wright, from Ohio. Thomas, Tommy, like you. How many missions? This is my first assignment. I'm excited. Can't wait to get some rest. You're flying tomorrow. He looked confused, disappointed. But he saluted and left. I couldn't watch him. Couldn't look at his eager face and think about how in a week he'd be dead or broken. Couldn't explain that 4 kills meant 4 men I'd killed, 4 families getting telegrams, 4 mothers crying. Couldn't make him understand every kill diminished me. I left the mess, walked to my bunk. Someone had packed Red's footlocker, Billy's belongings, Carlos's effects. Like they'd never existed, empty bunks waiting for next occupants. I pulled out paper and pen, Aero 200 hours, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Red spinning down, Billy gliding hopelessly, Carlos exploding. Saw it all over and over. So I started writing. To you, Tommy. Because you needed to hear this. Because you needed to understand what you'd be signing up for. Because I loved you too much to let you walk into this blind. Tommy, the boy who left Tulsa in 1942, isn't the man writing this. That boy believed in clear lines between right and wrong. He thought war was about good guys and bad guys. He thought killing in uniform was somehow different. I've killed men. At least 4 today, probably more over 37 missions. I've watched friends die. I've seen aircraft full of men turned into falling wreckage in seconds. I've flown through fire and flak and fear so intense I thought my heart would stop. And the worst part? I've gotten good at it. I can kill without hesitation now, without remorse, without thinking. I see an enemy, line up, pull trigger, move on. It's mechanical, efficient, professional, and that terrifies me more than anything Germans can throw at me. I pulled the trigger that killed that German pilot who mocked us. I watched his aircraft come apart. I watched him die. And I felt nothing, just cold calculation. But somewhere in Germany, someone's getting a telegram. Someone's crying. Someone's brother isn't coming home. And I did that. War takes pieces of your soul, one at a time. I'm a killer now, Tommy. A sanctioned, uniformed, decorated killer. They'll probably give me a medal, but I'll always know what I really am. If I don't make it back, and eventually the odds say I won't, I need you to know things. First, take care of Mom and Dad. Don't let them make me into something I wasn't. Don't let them say I died a hero. I was just a scared kid trying not to die, trying to keep friends alive, failing more often than not. Remember me that way. Second, if you're still thinking about enlisting, think about this letter. Think about Red and Billy and Carlos. Think about the German pilot I killed, who was probably just like me. Think about whether you're willing to become what I've become. I'm not saying don't serve. Hitler has to be stopped. The camps we're hearing about, Dachau, Buchenwald, that evil has to be destroyed. I believe that, or else everything I've done means nothing. But go in with eyes open. Know you'll kill. Know you'll watch friends die. Know you'll never be the same. Know some nights you won't sleep, and when you do, you'll dream of burning aircraft. Know you'll flinch at loud noises forever. No part of you will stay in the war, even if your body comes home. Flying fighters isn't glamorous. It's terror and boredom. Hours of cold monotony punctuated by minutes of absolute chaos where men die faster than you can process. It's watching instruments, while watching for enemies, while staying in formation, while tracking fuel and ammunition. It's split-second decisions where wrong choice means death. It's knowing every mission might be your last, but climbing in anyway. And if you survive, you carry the weight of everyone who didn't. Red should be alive. Billy should be alive. Carlos should be alive. They were better men than me. But they're dead, and I'm alive, and I don't know why, and that eats at me every day. Tell Mom I love her. Tell her not to cry, or if she has to cry, know that I don't regret enlisting. I regret the killing, the dying, what I've become. But I don't regret trying to stop Hitler. Some things are worth fighting for, even if the cost is your soul. Tell Dad I'm sorry I won't be there to help with the farm, to take over the business, to give him grandchildren. Sorry for all the things I won't be around to do if this letter is the last you hear from me. And Tommy, I'm sorry I won't be there for your graduation, your wedding, all the moments a big brother should be there for. All I can do is tell you the truth and hope you're wise enough to learn from it. Keep that photograph of us at Lake Keystone. Remember that day. Remember who we were before this. Just two brothers fishing, laughing, living in a world where the biggest worry was catching something worth keeping. That world is gone. The war killed it. But maybe when this is over, we can build something like it again. A world where boys can fish without thinking about killing, where the sky is for birds and clouds, not fighters and bombers and death. If I do make it back, and God, I hope I do, I won't be the brother you remember. I'll be harder, quieter, more distant. I'll have nightmares. I'll flinch at sudden sounds. I'll stare at nothing, lost in memories I can't share and wouldn't want to burden you with if I could. Be patient with me. Understand that part of me died over Berlin and all the other missions. The best parts of me stayed in those burning aircraft, in those falling fortresses, in the eyes of men I killed and men I couldn't save. But I'll try, Tommy. If I make it back, I'll try to be your brother again. Try to be the person Mom and Dad raised. Try to find some piece of the boy who sat on that porch and watched summer storms and thought lightning was beautiful instead of thinking about tracer fire. I'll try to remember how to laugh. Try to remember what it feels like to sleep through the night. Try to remember that not every sound is a threat, not every shadow is danger. But you have to understand, I'll never fully come back. None of us will. The war takes you and changes you and sends back someone else wearing your face. The lucky ones get to live with that. The unlucky ones don't have to carry it. Sometimes I wonder which is really lucky. They're calling another briefing in 4 hours. Another mission. Replacements arrived yesterday. 5 fresh lieutenants to replace 8 we lost. The math doesn't even work. We're being ground down, Tommy. Slowly but surely, 1 mission at a time. I've beaten the odds 37 times. The average pilot survival is 15 missions. I'm already running on borrowed time, on luck that has to run out eventually. It's not if, it's when. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the next mission. Maybe I'll make it to 50, to the end of my tour. But probably not. Probably one day soon my aircraft will get hit wrong, or I'll make the wrong decision, or I'll just run out of luck. And then you'll get a telegram. But I'll climb into Oklahoma Thunder tomorrow anyway. Not because I'm brave. Not because I'm a hero. Not because I believe in glory or honor. I'll fly because the guys next to me are flying. Because those bomber crews need protection. Because Red and Billy and Carlos are gone and someone has to keep fighting. Because if I don't, then they died for nothing. Because stopping is worse than continuing, even though continuing probably means dying. That's what war really is, Tommy. It's not about flags and patriotism, though those things matter. It's about the man next to you. It's about not letting your friends down. It's about doing the job even when you're terrified, even when you know the odds. It's about climbing into an aircraft at dawn, knowing you might not see dusk. It's about pulling the trigger on another human and living with that forever. It's about watching friends die and keeping flying because the mission isn't over. It's about being so tired you can barely think, so scared you can barely breathe, so numb you can barely feel, and doing it anyway. I think about the morning I left for war. Remember? You were 14, standing on the porch trying not to cry. You said, "Come back a hero." And I promised I would. I'm breaking that promise, Tommy. I'm not coming back a hero. If I come back at all, I'm coming back as something else. A killer, a survivor, a ghost. I'm coming back carrying the weight of men I couldn't save and men I had to kill. I'm coming back with pieces missing. Don't ask me about the war when I return. Don't ask for exciting stories about dogfights. Don't ask what it was like. I won't be able to explain. The words don't exist, and even if they did, I wouldn't burden you with them. Just let me fish with you again at Lake Keystone. Let me sit on that porch and watch summer storms. Let me eat Mom's cooking and help Dad with the harvest, and try to remember what it feels like to be human instead of a weapon. Give me time. Give me patience. Give me silence when I need it, and presence when I can handle it. Give me a chance to find my way back to something resembling who I used to be, even though I'll never fully make it. And Tommy, don't enlist, please. Not because the cause isn't worthy, not because serving isn't honorable, but because I need someone in our family to stay whole. I need to know that you're home, safe, living the life I'm fighting to protect. I need to know that all this death and killing preserves something good. Be that for me, Tommy. Live the life I can't anymore. Go to college, play baseball, fall in love, have children, grow old. Do all the things Red and Billy and Carlos will never do. Do them for me. Do them for all of us who gave up our futures so you could have one. That's what I'm really fighting for. Not territory or politics. I'm fighting so my little brother can grow up in a world where he doesn't have to kill anyone, where he doesn't have to watch friends die, where he doesn't have to carry this weight. If that's selfish, then I'm selfish. But I've killed enough men. I've seen enough death. I've lost enough friends. I don't want to add you to that list. I don't want to see your name in a casualty report. I don't want to stand at attention while they fold a flag over your coffin. So please, for me, for Mom and Dad, for Red and Billy and Carlos and all the others who won't come home, stay, live, be the future we're dying to create. The sun is coming up now. First light through the window, painting the English sky gold and pink. It's beautiful. Strange how beauty still exists in a world this full of death. Strange how the sun still rises even when good men don't. In an hour, I'll walk to the flight line. I'll strap into Oklahoma Thunder. I'll take off with the replacements and survivors, and we'll fly toward whatever target the brass has chosen. Maybe Berlin again, maybe somewhere else. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. Just different cities to bomb, different skies to fight in, different places to die. I'll do my job. I'll protect the bombers. I'll kill German pilots if I have to. I'll watch for my wingman and hope he's watching for me. I'll try not to think about Red and Billy and Carlos. I'll try not to think about the men I've killed. I'll try not to think about anything except fly, fight, survive. And if I make it back, I'll write you again. Tell you I'm still alive, still flying, still carrying the weight. And if I don't make it back, then this letter will have to be enough. My last words to my little brother. My last attempt to make you understand. There's a quote I heard once. War doesn't determine who's right. It only determines who's left. That's the truth. We're not heroes. We're not villains. We're just men trying to survive long enough to make it home, trying to believe all this death serves some purpose, trying to hold on to enough humanity that we can still recognize ourselves. I still see that German pilot's face sometimes, the one I killed first, over Berlin, the one who laughed and mocked us and then died when my bullets found him. I wonder who he was, what his name was, if he had a brother like you. I wonder if he was a good man fighting for a bad cause, or just a man doing his job like me. I'll never know. And maybe that's better. Maybe knowing would make it worse. Maybe it's easier to kill when they're just a target, just an enemy, just a shape in your gun sight. Maybe that's another thing war takes, the ability to see humanity in people you're trying to kill. But I do see it, Tommy. That's my curse. I see it every time I pull the trigger. I see the man inside the machine. I see the life I'm ending. And I do it anyway because if I don't kill them, they'll kill me or the bombers or someone else's brother. The math is simple. The morality isn't. I love you, Tommy. Tell Mom and Dad I love them. Tell them I'm sorry if I don't make it back. Tell them I tried my best. Tell them the boy they raised still exists somewhere inside this killer I've become, buried deep but not entirely gone. Keep that photograph. Look at it sometimes. Remember that day at Lake Keystone. Remember we were happy once, that the world was simple once, that there was a time before all this death. And if you do decide to enlist despite everything I've written, if you feel the call to serve, if you believe in the cause enough, then write to me first. Let me know. Let me try one more time to change your mind. Or if I can't, let me try to prepare you for what's coming. But I hope you don't. I hope you stay home. I hope you live. I hope that when this war is over and I come back, if I come back, you'll be there on that porch, whole and innocent and alive, waiting for your big brother to teach you that curveball again. That's what I'm fighting for, Tommy. Not glory, not honor, not medals. I'm fighting so my kid brother doesn't have to, so you can have the life I gave up, so something good survives all this death. Don't waste it. Don't throw it away for illusions of heroism. Live, Tommy. Live for both of us. Live for Red and Billy and Carlos and all the others who won't get that chance. Live enough for all of us. That's my last request, my last hope, my last prayer. The briefing is in 30 minutes. Time to put on my flight suit, strap on my pistol, grab my helmet. Time to walk to the flight line one more time. Time to climb into Oklahoma Thunder and see if our luck holds. Will this be my last letter? I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll write again, tell you about another mission survived. Or maybe tomorrow someone else will write with words like, regret to inform you, and gave his life, and died serving his country. Either way, remember, I love you. I'm proud of you. And whether I come home or not, you have to live. You have to be the future I'm fighting for. You have to be the reason all this death means something. Be good, Tommy. Be kind. Be everything this war isn't. Be the brother I remember. The boy who laughed and fished and dreamed about baseball instead of bullets. Be alive. That's all that matters. Not the killing, not the dying, not the war or medals or reports. Just that you're alive and whole and still capable of joy in a world that's forgotten what joy means. I hear the engines starting outside, the Pratt & Whitneys roaring to life one by one. My squadron, my mission, my fate, whatever it may be. Time to go. Your brother always. Bobby 1st, Lt. Robert J. Kessler, U.S. Army Air Forces, 56th Fighter Group, 61st Fighter Squadron, somewhere in England, March 19th, 1945. P.S. If anyone else reads this someday, remember that we weren't heroes. We were just boys sent to do a terrible job in a terrible war. We killed because we had to. We died because the odds demanded it. We suffered because that's what war is, suffering with a purpose or without one, depending on whether you survive long enough to find meaning. Behind every fighter was a boy who used to fish or play baseball or dream about a future without killing. Behind every bomber was 10 boys who joined to fight tyranny and found themselves fighting just to survive. Behind every statistic, every casualty report, every line in a history book, there were real people with real lives and real families who loved them. Remember that. Remember us not as heroes or villains or numbers, but as human beings who did what we thought was right even when it cost us everything. And if you're young and thinking about war as adventure, as glory, stop. Think about this letter. Think about Red and Billy and Carlos. Think about the German pilot I killed who probably had his own little brother. Think about what you're really signing up for. For me, stopping Hitler was worth it. Protecting my country was worth it. Keeping my friends alive, even though I failed more often than I succeeded, was worth it. But the cost was my soul, my innocence, my peace, my sleep, my joy. The cost was becoming someone I don't recognize. Was it worth that cost? Ask me if I survive. Ask me in 10 years, 20 years, when I've had time to process what I've done and seen and become. Right now, all I know is that I'd do it again. I'd fly those 37 missions again, kill those men again, lose those friends again, because the alternative, letting Hitler win, letting evil triumph, would be worse. But I'd never call it glorious, never call it heroic, never pretend it was anything other than necessary horror, justified killing, purposeful destruction. That's the truth of war. Not the propaganda version, not the movie version. The real version, written in blood and fire and frozen tears at 23,000 feet over Berlin. Remember it, learn from it, and God willing, never have to live it. If you'd like us to preserve more letters like this, subscribe and stay with us. Some voices must never fade.